My name is Princess Twilight Sparkle. I was once the Princess of Friendship, but my title has been diminished to nothing but a fragment of dust by a strange virus that has taken every pony in Ponyville. I've watched and observed the progress of the virus. The first sign of exposure to the virus is a small cough, which quickly progresses to a much more severe cough and continues on a rapid basis. The most obvious sign is blood leaking out of the eye sockets, along with severe nausea and a severe headache. The last signs of the virus is blood being extracted from the coughs. I'm still alive and continue to fight against the effects of the virus. I've noticed that the virus's effects on me are much more slower paced due to my immortality. I've decided to take this opportunity to possibly find this virus's weakness and possibly a cure. To find a cure, though, I need some pony to volunteer as a test subject. Rainbow Dash, the first to be exposed to the virus, decided to take the risk, providing that it could lead to a cure. This is what I'm hoping for, along with every other pony. The cause of the virus originated from what I am calling the joke cookie epidemic, a strange odor that came from the rainbow filling of the joke cookie after it was first exposed, immediately crippling test subject Rainbow Dash. I returned to my castle that had been converted into a lab for the sake of Equestria, only to find Rainbow Dash in severe condition. My assistant Spike had been exposed to the virus as well, but strangely, it had not affected Spike at a rapid pace. I decided to start with simple blood tests. Provided with Ponyville Hospital's equipment, I took blood samples from Rainbow Dash and Spike and placed it in a small glass container along with some of the filling from the cookies. The result was this. Within a time period of 1 minute, the scent from the filling had already started to kill a large number of blood cells in Rainbow Dash. This confirmed just how aggressive this virus is and is classified under a code red epidemic. Fatal. However, the virus only extinguished a certain amount of blood cells before it just stopped. The blood sample was fatally affected by the epidemic, but still alive just enough to keep an organism living, but not by much. Aggressive, yet it keeps the victim alive. Who or whatever created this virus knew what they were doing, at least to mortal ponies. Spike's results were different. Very different. Within a time period of 1 minute, the scent from the filling had not managed to do much to patient's blood sample. Only a minor amount of blood cells were affected by the epidemic. By the time this virus could even affect patient, the blood sample would have already produced a number of cells strong enough to hold off the virus and fight it off. This is strange, because patient is affected, so I'm going to try one more thing to test my theory on why patient is even affected. Just as I had suspected, I added more filling to the containment chamber with the blood sample, and immediately the virus grew more aggressive, but still managed to only kill a minor amount of cells. The result is how much exposure you have to the virus. Exposure is the key word here. Minor exposure makes the disease fightable if you are not a pony, but dragons have a much higher tolerance against the virus, but only if exposed mildly. Patient might still be able to survive if he remains within a containment of fresh oxygen. I already have a possible cure that might help to control the epidemic, but before anything can be done, Ponyville would have to be quarantined, and to do that, we need Canterlot's help. Sending a letter to Celestia, hoping that we can get this under control. Day 2 of the epidemic. Rainbow Dash is progressing to a worse state, but I'm hoping my theory of controlling this epidemic is correct. I sent the letter to Celestia, and so far, no response has come back. I've decided to test my theory on Rainbow Dash, seeing she's in horrible condition, and unless something is done, she'll die within the next 2 days, or even less. This theory can either end good or bad, seeing I have no idea what will happen. This is mad science, but risks have to be taken in order to find a possible cure. My theory is that if I inject Rainbow Dash with some of Spike's blood, the blood of Spike might be able to fight against the virus in Rainbow's bloodstream. Depending on just how much of the virus has entered Rainbow's bloodstream, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully Spike's blood is able to act as a shield, much like antibodies in any pony or any creature's immune system. Time to test my theory. Cross your hooves. A small amount of Spike's blood has been infused into Rainbow's bloodstream, and so far, nothing bad has happened. Rainbow's condition has neither worsened or reduced to a better state, which I slightly expected, seeing I figured the effects wouldn't be visible right away. Every medicine takes time to act, so only time will tell if Spike's blood can work as a possible controlling remedy. Even if it works, I don't know how long the effects will hold off, nor if it will decrease the virus's aggressiveness on the body. I'm going to give it an hour, then I'll check on Rainbow once again. Please, let this work. Sweet Celestia, my theory was correct. Rainbow's condition has decreased to a much healthier state. She's not coughing, nor bleeding from her eyes. Her blood pressure and heart rate have increased back to normal as well. She's doing much better. What a breakthrough! I've actually found a way to control this virus. I'm not going to get overexcited though, because I have no idea on how long the effects will last. I'm timing it now, and so far, Rainbow has been able to talk, breathe, and support herself. Maybe, just maybe, there might be hope after all. I'm going to wait it out and hopefully get an idea on just how long this virus can be controlled. Thanks, Celestia. I can't believe that I managed to control this epidemic. It's time to find a cure, and hopefully end this virus. Day 3 of the epidemic. Luckily for me, Rainbow Dash is still alive, and the remedy is still in effect. It's been 10 hours since injection, and I'm happy to report that Rainbow is better. But I can't help but think that finding a controlling remedy was almost too easy. I need to know how the medicine fights back against the virus, so I'm going to use Spike's first blood sample and Rainbow's first blood sample and examine what is going on in Rainbow's bloodstream. Hopefully, nothing bad. I have inserted Rainbow's blood sample into the containment device, and I'm now going to add the same amount of Spikes to Rainbow's. Inserting now. Spike's blood sample has been added, and neither blood sample have made any progress nor movement toward one another. I'm adding some of the joke cookie filling now. Just like in Experiment 1, the virus is attacking both blood samples, but is affecting Rainbow's blood sample the most. A large number of Rainbow's blood cells have been killed, leaving only a few, while Spike's blood sample is barely affected. Within a time duration of 5 minutes, the virus has done its effects against the blood sample, and now going into 6 minutes, I'm noticing something strange with Spike's blood sample. The blood sample is spreading throughout Rainbow's blood sample, and is managing to... It's repairing the dead blood cells of Rainbow's blood sample. Something most modern medicines can't even do. 10 minutes have passed now, and the dead blood cells have been repaired of Rainbow's blood sample. Spike's sample acting as an ally against the virus and strangely isn't fading away nor dying away. Nothing new is happening as we head into the 11-minute mark. This information is unbelievable. This remedy just might be the cure. Entering 13 minutes, I'm noticing nothing different, but I'll be keeping an eye on both this experiment and Rainbow Dash just in case anything goes awry. Rainbow's condition continues to get better as the blood sample continues to hold against the virus within containment. It's been 20 hours since Rainbow Dash was infused with Spike's sample. Could this be the cure? I'm calling an end to the blood sample observation due to nothing bad happening within 10 hours. Still no word from Celestia. I really hope that Carola is okay, and I'm hoping that this is the miracle cure. There's only one way to determine if dragon's blood is the cure, but I'm still hesitant to do it. I'll watch the blood samples, and I'm planning on taking another blood sample from Rainbow Dash tomorrow. I want to be 100% sure that this is safe before putting myself or any other pony in danger. Signing off for now. Day 9 of the epidemic. 6 days have passed, and Rainbow Dash has managed to recover back to her normal self. So far, no side effects have shown, and the blood samples from the second experiment continue to remain the same. I believe that it's safe to say that dragon's blood is the cure to this epidemic. Who ever knew it would be so easy to find a cure to something as strong as this epidemic? I plan to inject other ponies soon, seeing they are suffering out in the open world and there is no need for any further death to continue. There is one specific thing I have noticed about Rainbow, though. Her appetite has increased as much as her thirst. If this is a side effect, I have no idea. But even if it isn't anything that can be tolerated until we get assistance from Canterlot. I'm hoping to receive a response soon, seeing it's been 9 days now, and we really need Canterlot's help in fighting off this epidemic. Until then, I'll do my best to keep an eye out for anything suspicious. Rainbow's hungry again, so I must tend to her. Signing off for now. I'm scared. Rainbow acted strange when I fed her something. She rejected it and even pulled a scary outrage saying she wanted blood and only blood. She even attacked me and tried to bite at the main artery in my neck. I managed to hold her off with my magic, and she's in heavy containment. I don't know what is going on, but I'm going to take some blood samples from Rainbow. Something has gone terribly wrong with her, and she has grown more aggressive. Please, Celestia, send a reply soon. I'm scared to death. I've managed to gain enough of a blood sample from Rainbow, and I'm going to examine what in Celestia is going on in her bloodstream. I had to use some tranquilizer fluids to knock her out, because ever since I freed her from containment, she has come down with a monstrous attitude. All she wants is fresh blood and nothing else. Please, let the answer be in this blood sample. Something is wrong. The virus has grown even more aggressive against the blood cells, but not killing the blood cells. Instead, the virus has managed to surpass the dragon blood's effects and has removed the dragon's blood completely from Rainbow's sample. Never have I known of a virus that has a backup effect. It's almost as if the virus itself is a living organism. The virus backup has different effects than first exposure, making its victim aggressive and bloodthirsty. What can I do now? The dragon's blood isn't enough, and if this virus has the capability to fight back against anything that can pose as a threat, how can you win that battle? The only known resource I know of that can possibly have the medicine to fight back against a virus that is able to fight back against any sort of cure is Canterlot Quarantine Facility. Please, Celestia, answer me! Rainbow is awake. She's very angry at me, and even her appearance has changed. Her eyes have turned red, and she's developed a growl like a wild animal. I can only keep her contained for now until Celestia messages me back. It's been nearly 10 days and still nothing. I understand it's a busy occupation, but we need help, because who knows what else this virus is capable of. I sure don't. Whoever created this was in the nature of some sort of wicked science. I sure hope their own creation reaches them so they can face everything that Ponyville has had to face. Ponyville has become a land of death, and unless help comes, we might have to face facts. Ponyville is dead. It is now day 10 of the epidemic, and Rainbow's growl is all I can hear, even though she is contained in a room made of 12-inch thick steel. What happened to my friend? Is it even her anymore? I hate to think that, but the Rainbow I knew would never harm any of her friends. At least Spike is still alive, but who knows how long it'll be before he turns on me? Wait, Spike just burped. Finally, a response. Hoping that Celestia can provide the resources Ponyville needs right now before it's too late, and Ponyville dies to nothing. Dearest Twilight, I'm sorry for late response. I only just got to your letter and the massive pile of paperwork that I have to sort through. I've contacted the Kentala quarantine facility, and they have informed me that they are low on supplies for a Code Red epidemic, and the latest they can obtain the needed resources would be within the next 2 weeks. Until then, I suggest you remain inside your castle and keep me informed of the situation. Good luck, my dear student. Princess Celestia. 2 weeks might be too long. I'm going to write her back and inform her of all the current issues with the virus. This can't wait out for 2 more weeks. It must be resolved now. I just hope that she responds faster this time. I've got to go now. Rainbow is growling again. I can't handle it, so I'll just put her to sleep for a short while again. Goodbye for now. It is now day 12 of the epidemic. Ponyville has gone quiet due to the few survivors of the virus finally meeting their end. I've taken Celestia's advice and have remained within the castle, trying my best to find some sort of way to fight back against this epidemic, but I've officially been stumped. As for Rainbow, nothing has changed with her. She continues to let out a horrific growl and pound against the walls of the room I've sealed her in each day. I have had thoughts of putting her down, but I've already been forced to kill 2 of my friends. I couldn't kill another. Not now. Not ever. To be completely honest, I don't know what to do. I can't just sit here and wait for the virus to finish me. No, I need to somehow find a way to fight back. This virus cannot win. If only it were that easy to fight back against a virus with a backup side effect. I feel as if it's mocking me, and I wonder constantly if I'm slowly falling into madness. I very well could be, especially if I think a virus is taunting me. Rainbow is growing more violent, more stronger. I haven't seen her since I took the last blood sample, and I'm all out of tranquilizing fluid, so I can't put her to sleep. She never sleeps, and neither do I. I'm too scared to sleep. I fear that Rainbow might escape the room, even though it would take some pony with brute strength to get out of a room composed of thick steel and a lodge with a door with 10 thick steel locks holding it shut. What can I do? Oh no. Spike just coughed. I know what I need to do. even though I don't want to. I'm ending this transmission here because no pony needs to see this. Goodbye for now. I couldn't do it. I tried, but my emotions got the better of me. So now Spike is locked up in containment to prevent the virus from any further exposure. I can feel the virus beginning to take hold of me after 15 days of failing to try to find any shred of hope in this time of darkness and pure mystery. I'm still trying to find some attempt as an explanation as to why Rainbow Dash became very monstrous and violent towards me. I can't help but wonder why, seeing the animal-like growl that Rainbow had before has changed to a much more deep and violent-sounding roar. I don't dare enter the room where I'm keeping her, afraid for my own safety, and also afraid of what I might find. Spike's condition has continued to just get worse, and as much as I hate to see him suffer, I can't kill another friend. I've kept Celestia updated on what I can, and I haven't received any responses as of yet. I explained very clearly that a 2-week period for the Canterlot quarantine facility to arrive and get this under control was not acceptable. Ponyville has gone dead silent, and the only sounds audible now are Rainbow's growls on a constant basis, Spike's coughing and retching, and the sound of my depleting heartbeat. I can feel it faltering with each passing second, and while I'm still able to support myself, it won't be long before I'm gone as well. I really hope that Celestia finds a solution, because I fear that I'm not safe here anymore. Where will I go if my condition worsens or whatever I locked in that room manages to somehow escape? I fear the worst, seeing I swear I can hear the sealed door being weakened with each passing day. That could be my sense of insecurity and paranoia playing tricks on me, but either way, I'm not taking any chances. As time has passed, food and other resources have gotten low, so in my last letter, I asked Celestia to possibly transport extra food and such. I'm running out of time and options, and if help doesn't come soon, Ponyville's population will fall to 0. There's nowhere to run or hide. A letter finally came. I'm crossing my hooves, hoping that Celestia has somehow managed to convince the Canterlot quarantine facility to arrive sooner, and that some resources have been provided. My belly has been grumbling for food within the past 2 days, and the Spike has even begun to crave for even the simplest of things on the verge of death. Dearest Twilight, I talked to the head of the Canterlot quarantine facility, and the least amount they could provide was 10 days. I'm so sorry, but they want to get the area contained with every bit of caution possible. I can provide you with resources in that time, and will send those separately. As for Rainbow Dash, just try to keep the area she's in reinforced for now, and as soon as the Canterlot quarantine facility arrives, they will take care of it from there. For now, I've taken precautions and have reinforced Canterlot with a protective shield against the virus. We don't need any other areas getting infected. I wish I could help you more, but I must keep Canterlot safe until Ponyville is contained. Stay safe, Twilight. Your friend and mentor, Princess Celestia. As soon as I take my eyes off the letter, 5 extra boxes of the promised resources arrive separately. I'm not sure if I'll make it 10 days from now, seeing the virus has lowered my strength along with the lack of resources. I'm going to have to try my hardest to hold out the next 10 days, and seeing I've made it 20 days already, I feel confident enough to give one more shot of making it out of this nightmare alive. For now, I am going to gain strength back with a decent meal, and if Spike is hungry, provide him with a healthy meal. After that, I need to check the locks on the steel door where Rainbow is contained, as much as I am afraid. I need to hold out just a little longer. Help is coming. I just need to hold out 10 more days and hope that whatever I fear may be in that room does not escape. I'm terrified. I was right about the door. It was heavily damaged from the impact of whatever lies in the containment. I estimate that 2 more days, the door would have been breached and I would have been running for my life from the monstrosity I may have accidentally created. While repairing the supports that held the door, I just barely caught sight of something in the room. It was nothing that I could describe, except terrifying, seeing that once I saw it, I fell backwards onto my back in fright. All I managed to catch a glimpse of was blood-red eyes in pure darkness, staring right at me during a sudden thrust against the door. Not only eyes, but I swear I caught sight of what I thought were huge wings similar to that of a... No. I couldn't have. It's impossible. But those eyes and wings seem just like what I fear. Did mixing dragon blood cells with pony blood cells result in the creation of a mixture of the two species? Calm down, Twilight. Don't assume things that may not be true. I'm going to check the blood samples from before to see if what I may fear may be the cause of Rainbow's sudden change in behavior. Please, let me be wrong. My fears just became reality. After sitting for nearly 2 weeks, the blood samples had changed miraculously, and not in a good way. The blood sample taken from Spike had completely devoured the blood sample taken from Rainbow Dash. The cells within Rainbow's sample had been completely reconstructed, which normally would be a good thing, seeing the last time I ran an experiment, I had saw that the virus had worked against the lasting effects of dragon blood. The virus had an aggressive nature which had eventually killed all the cells, but somehow, the dragon blood had once again worked against the virus, rebuilding the cells in the pony blood. So, the dragon blood just had a longer recovery process than the virus, meaning it could still fight against the virus despite its relentless aggression. However, the dragon blood has another effect against pony DNA. I had underestimated the strength of dragon blood, and it turns out that the cells became overly dominant, causing the cells of the pony blood cells to take over and rebuild the DNA structure. It's like a virus in its own nature. While it may be able to combat the virus, it's also too powerful a remedy for ponies to tolerate without their DNA structure changing, causing the host to first gain small habits of a dragon like their appetite. From there, it just progresses until the pony becomes a voracious predator. Rainbow had become a mixture between a Pegasus and a voracious dragon, and the longer she remains in containment, she will only progress, until the blood cells take full hold and she loses most of her characteristics as much as her appearance as a pony. She'll become a full-fledged monstrosity with an appetite for ponies like me. Normally this would be a miraculous break in science, but under these circumstances, it's a danger and possible cause of death for me. Please, let these 10 days be long enough to keep me safe. I'm truly running out of time. It has been 2 days since my last transmission. Spike passed in his sleep on day 17 after the joke cookie virus epidemic began. He fought for so long, and in the little time he had left, kept my hope for survival alive. As much as I'd like to give him a proper burial, it's suicide to step outside of the castle, so he remains tucked under the sheets in his bed. His passing tore me up, and my hope had begun to diminish in these passing days. I'm not sure how much longer I can handle this, hearing those same terrifying roars from Rainbow every night, along with the sound of something similar to clanking metal. It terrifies me, knowing those bearings will not last much longer at this rate. She's angry at me for what I did to her, and she will come for me. My physical strength continues to weaken with each passing day. I can barely handle running at this point, even with the resources provided by Celestia. I've noticed my flesh become more sensitive to touch, along with my once dark purple color diminish to a pale purple. I look like I'm in rigor mortis at this point, and my eyes becoming bloodshot and sickly yellow in color. That could be from sleep deprivation as well, which I've noted, but even I can see at this point that I'll soon meet my fate, if the monstrosity I created doesn't end me first. Spike's dying wish was for me to not give up no matter what, and I intend to keep that promise, which is why I have prepared an emergency bunker that not even Rainbow knew the location of, so I'm hoping that will buy me time. The bearings grow weak with every hit they take from the massive strength of whatever dwells in that cage, and according to my estimation, based off the mass of the impacts and the amount of force the bearings can handle, the cage will be breached 2 days from now. My fear continues to grow with each hit, afraid my estimation may be incorrect, but I promised to never give up until my last breath is emitted from my mouth or muzzle. I've moved necessary resources into the bunker over the past 2 days, and today is the day that I take refuge in the bunker, using only my magic as a light source. This is my last stand against the odds stacked against me, because once I close the bunker, I've made it impossible to open it from the inside, so only an outside source can open it. That means I will either die here, or if I manage to outlast the remaining days, be saved by the Kenterla Quarantine Facility agents. How will they know where the bunker is? I sent Celestia a letter specifying on how to find me. This is it. My final chance. Day 20 since the first exposure of the joke cookie virus. I'm tired, exhausted, scared, and trapped in my own personal prison created by myself. Food supply is running low, and the only thing I hear in this dark prison is the roars of the monstrosity I never intended to create. I can hear the bearings growing weaker with each blow, which has caused my fear and paranoia to escalate in the only safe place left for any living creature left. Of all the things that could have wiped out a fraction of pony kind, I never would have guessed something as harmless as joke cookies. A product sold in joke shops throughout Equestria to young colts and fillies of all ages. What could have caused this? What could have been in that batch of joke cookies that could slowly kill ponies in a gruesome way? Rainbow never intended this. She just happened to be the unfortunate pony to buy the batch that contained the virus. At this point, it doesn't matter, does it, Twilight? You tried to find an answer, but failed to find a solution. You created a monster, and slowly but surely, you are becoming a monster. Look at yourself. You are as pale as a ghost in your final days of life, if even that much time remains. Your strength weakens, your hope diminishes, your sanity fades. Why didn't you just end it all rather than fighting for a resolution that will never come? Why are you such an idiot, Twilight? You had to save Equestria multiple times before, so why couldn't you save Equestria this time? Idiot! Failure! Worthless scum! I apologize for my sudden outburst. I suspect it as an effect from the virus, along with my restlessness. I haven't slept since day 12, and feel like I'm dragging lead. Shall any pony ever hear these recordings, promise me that you'll find what I couldn't. At this point, my hopes of being saved have faded to nothing but pure hopelessness. I'm sorry that I failed. Verity, Applejack, Rainbow, Spike. I'm sorry. I failed you all. I couldn't avenge your deaths and only hope that you can forgive me when I join you in due time. Forgiveness is all I ask for at this point. I'm too weak to even support a simple light spell anymore. Therefore, I can't see to eat or drink. I continue to fight, and I don't know why I do. Any pony would have accepted the inevitable at this point. But even in the darkest of hours, a small shred of hope remains. Just stay strong, I keep telling myself. Help is coming, I keep telling myself. I know I'm only lying to myself, but in some way it gives me reason. Reason to fight against the virus that slowly continues to engulf my soul with a force of unbelievable strength. My mind is telling me to give in, to make the pain go away, to escape the misery. But my will says otherwise. It's a conflict between mind and soul that is taking a toll on me. At the moment, I'm not sure what to choose. All I know is that time is running out, and eventually, I will have to end this conflict. I must eat now. I'm hungry. This is Princess Twilight Sparkle, signing off for now. It's now day 21 since first exposure of the joke cookie virus epidemic. I'm on my last resources of food and water. I continue to face that same conflict between my mind and whatever may remain of my soul. The virus has entered its final stages, and slowly my body is being eaten from the inside. All I taste is blood, and continue to cough up mass amounts of the thick crimson liquid. My feces, which I defecated only a few hours ago, is pure red and black. The stench is unbearable in such a small, secluded prison like this, but I only have myself to blame for that. The coughing started 2 hours ago and has now followed with rapid vomiting. My mouth is most likely crimson in color, and my teeth rotten and deteriorating from the mass amounts of stomach acid being extracted. Celestia knows what else is in the contents of both the feces and vomit, and I'd rather prefer not to know. Pain. Pain is all I feel, similar to something sharp navigating through every vein, artery, nerve, and intestine. I cried at first, but at this point, it has become second nature to me, thus why I've held off on doing another transmission. I hypothesize that it will only continue to worsen from here forward, and I know I'm not wrong this time. Oh, Celeb. I'm sorry. I can't talk right now. I think it has stopped for now. I'm quivering and shivering as I speak this transmission. I've realized the truth. I'm not going to make it. I'll be lucky to make it another day. As much as I wish I could just kill myself, I can't. It hurts to move at all, and I'm already slowly dying. I had to use my last shred of strength to just hit record, and will use the last bit of space left to say my final words. My name was Twilight Sparkle. I was the Princess of Friendship. I'm the last survivor of the joke cookie virus epidemic within the town once known as Ponyville. I tried, but failed. To any pony that finds this and is listening, Rainbow is loose. She escaped 2 hours ago, and while she hasn't found me yet, she will not stop until she does. Please, kill her as an act of mercy. Don't make her suffer any longer than she already has. Mom, Dad, Cadence, I love you all, and I hope that you find safety before it's too late. I'm sorry it had to end like this, but I never gave up trying to live for you all, in hopes of seeing your faces again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. On the date of 9/11/2016, Quarantine Team Alpha 1 infiltrated Ponyville following a distress call from occupant Princess Twilight Sparkle on a Class A epidemic. Upon arrival, a total of 0 survivors were found alive, while a total of 120 victims were discovered, all of them being dead upon discovery. Their causes of death are still unknown, but will be updated after each have been performed an autopsy. Upon first discovery, the victims were all found in pools of blood, but no trauma or blunt force had been applied. Later discoveries and observations had concluded the blood had been exerted from the mouth and nostrils of each victim. The only other discovery in the outside environment and inside environments of the area of Ponyville was scattered remains of cookies. A sample of the cookie was taken in as evidence, and is currently in the process of being examined for any harmful substances. Quarantine Team Alpha 1 proceeded to the usual protocol and quickly contained the area of Ponyville before continuing any further into the investigation. My team will continue the infiltration after quarantine protocol is complete. Signature of Team Operative, Captain Stronghoof. Following quarantine protocol, Quarantine Team Alpha 1 continued the investigation of Ponyville, confiscating anything that could be potentially contaminated. Upon further investigation, an additional 50 bodies were discovered, each of them falling under the same classification as the others. Each building was investigated, confiscated of anything potentially hazardous or contaminated, and marked as safe for any further investigation if necessary. The last building to be investigated was the Castle of Friendship, located just outside of Ponyville. Due to the size of the structure, a second quarantine protocol was done to assure the safety of my team. A follow-up investigation will be done after quarantine protocol is complete. Signature of Team Operative, Captain Stronghoof. After numerous tests, studies, and observations on Evidence A, heavy traces of Class A substances were found emanating from icing of Evidence A. Substance A, passing, a heavily toxic gas used mostly in machines powered by unicorn magic of high velocity. Substance B, cyanide, a commonly used form of poison to kill household pets like rats and mice. Substance C, unknown. No definition can be given as there are no cases of any substance of this kind. Studies with rats showed it to be heavily aggressive on the host, acting as a base able to keep reproducing whatever had been mixed with it. The main thing about this unknown substance was its ability to control the host's mindset. Final summary. Class X, aerial substance. Class X, fatal. This substance was homebrewed by another source, as substance A and B cannot be found within the same environments in high quantities. Further studies will be needed to determine any further details. For now, it is advised to keep Evidence A in a heavily controlled environment, and is only to be accessed by Class A laboratory scientists. Signed by Dr. Wingspan. Following quarantine protocol, the Castle of Friendship was infiltrated, starting with a full search of any survivors. Unfortunately, no survivors were found, only a lone corpse of a baby dragon. Cause of death was classified under the same cause of death for the other victims within the Ponyville area. Further investigation of the Castle of Friendship will be followed up by a confiscation of anything considered hazardous. Signature of Team Operative, Captain Stronghoof. A mass amount of potentially hazardous items were confiscated from the Castle of Friendship, but nothing else was found. The only things of interest found were a massive cage-like room, breached from the inside by someone or something of massive size. Upon examination, claw marks, traces of blood, feces, urine, and pony teeth were found. The quick assumption was that a dragon had occupied the environment, but after examining the teeth and testing the blood for a DNA match, both were found to match occupant Rainbow Dash. The case was dropped immediately due to there not being enough evidence to make a case or determine anything. Once confiscation was complete, the case was filed complete until further information was provided by the Canterlot medical examiners. An updated report regarding said subjective will be filed and sent if necessary. Signature of Team Operative, Captain Stronghoof. Princess Celestia forged a rescue mission due to Ponyville seeming safe. Using clear directions sent and provided by occupant Princess Twilight Sparkle, my team once again infiltrated the Castle of Friendship and navigated with caution to the area she had chosen to occupy. My team and I soon discovered the area of occupation and quickly opened the entrance to said area. The inside of the area of occupation was composed of heavy traces of vomit, feces, and splattered blood along the walls of the enclosure. Wrappers of certain foods were present as well, but the item of interest was the body of Princess Twilight Sparkle. After checking vitals, she was found to be alive, and was quickly gathered up. However, upon extraction, Princess Twilight Sparkle became very violent towards my team. I tried to assure her that she was safe, but she didn't follow and proceeded to attacking my team. To my surprise, upon further examination of the princess, she seemed more monstrous in appearance. She had blazing red eyes, sharp jagged teeth, and spoke in a very raspy manner. It wasn't anything of pony nature, and she wasn't a pony anymore. Despite it being against protocol, I ordered that Princess Twilight Sparkle be terminated. She was quickly targeted and eliminated. After elimination, the area of occupation was searched for any further evidence. A small recorder was gathered up as evidence, and after listening to the contents of the audio, I quickly ordered any bodies confiscated from Ponyville were to be burned immediately. The contents of the recorder were enough to determine what had happened, and what was the right course of action. The bodies were kept contained in a safe place until Princess Celestia had heard the transmissions on the recorder. Not long after, all the bodies gathered from Ponyville were confiscated and burned. Ponyville, as of now, is restricted to enter under order of the Canterlot Quarantine Facility, and until a full investigation is done, will remain a restricted area. One body still remains to be confiscated and burned, the only one we never found. In finality, subject Rainbow Dash must be found and terminated before she produces offspring, or Celestia help us all. Equestria will be damned to fall victim to whatever in Celestia's name was in that cage. Signature of Team Operative, Captain